Ever since the release of Cuphead, there have been many theories about what goes on in this wacky world full of different adventures. From getting chased down by the ice cream man to getting into a high-stakes robbery just to steal some cookies. But one of the greatest mysteries that I always wanted to know is survival. Not in the format of the Outdoor Boys, but in the format of living in the Cuphead world. Seeing if you can actually survive and start your own family, or go on a high seas adventure with Captain Brinybeard and help him get a date with Calla Maria, which was an actual thing in one of the episodes on the Cuphead Show, which is actually gonna have a major role in today's video. So sit back, relax, and grab your cup of milk. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, and if someone has already made a video like this or has a similar topic, then please let me know in the comments below, and I'll try to link their page since I don't want to copy another man's video. But anyways, let's first talk about this map, which shows each and every section of Inkwell Isle, a fictional place that was set in the early 1930s and is the setting of the main game. Although we can't really figure out where this place is located, there have been some rumors about being in the Caribbean, which doesn't really make any sense, since this island is 29 miles away from land. That was told in the intro of the Cuphead Show, and what you're seeing right in front of you is not 29 miles away from any sort of land/continent. Meaning that living in this place would consider you as a foreigner or an alien. But it's not too far from any sort of island that we have on Earth, because this place stores a monarchy, a government system, the literal devil, and a working class city. Which, may I remind you, is literally the UK. So we could basically estimate that Inkwell Isle had some inspiration from one of the greats, but not necessarily near the UK. So living in this place might endorse you into going to a Tesco or a Greggs, but another thing that I noticed while looking at this map was the border control, scattered throughout each and every section of one of the aisles. Because Cuphead and Mugman decided to gamble their lives away, which resulted in a mass murder across all of the aisles, just to get the listed contracts from the devil, since he had unknown beef with every single one of the characters. Just like Birmingham! But with this crisis going on, there's still a major gap between the actions of the main game and the show.
It doesn't.
Because during episode 3, season 1, we get introduced to the Flytrap, a local business held in Aisle 1 by Ribby and Croaks, who are just former boxers and never really attacked the Cups.
Am I also a secret assassin?
On episode 3, season 2, we meet another boss who is Captain Brinybeard, a guy who didn't seem very friendly in the beginning until he showed his passion for love. Which makes this reality look a lot more Disney-friendly rather than doing a whole genocide arc in the main game, since this timeline is taking place years before that ever happened. But what if we decided to arrive on Inkwell Isle before Cuphead and Mugman sold their souls? Well, we would still need to pick one of the 4 areas to live on, with one of them being a meadow forest full of living vegetables, and a sweet wonderland. Although there is one isle that I haven't really talked about yet in this video, which is Inkwell Isle 4, one of the most notorious and most dangerous island to ever live on, since once you step foot here, you may never, ever come back. During the Cuphead DLC that was released back in 2022, we venture across the sea into another island that was part of Inkwell Isle, and is full of dangerous criminals, outlaws, and cult members. Making this place look like a living hell already, there's also an evil chef, a living mountain man, a gravestone, and the US military. So it's best to just stay away from that part of the Isles, since you can get kidnapped, sacrificed, or even turn into a living food item that this cannibal might eat. Which brings me to the next dangerous isle, being Inkwell Isle 2. Now I know this might be controversial, but this is ranked as number 3 because my explanation is very simple. Why the hell would you want to live in a carnival that's trying to kill you 24/7? With Beppy the Clown trying to rig one of the rides, Baroness von Bonbon trying to seduce you into eating her own kind so that she can eat you later, and a literal dragon with 3 heads because it looks really cool. I mean, who wouldn't want to see a dragon with 3 heads? But there's also many other reasons why Inkwell Isle 2 is not sustainable for life because, like I said again, this is a carnival, not a neighborhood like this one, which is another video that I should also make because people don't really talk about this game enough, so like and subscribe. But let's get into our two final isles, being Inkwell Isle 1 and 3, with Inkwell Hell being last, by the way, since if you guessed it, it's just hell. But for the number 2 spot for the least dangerous isle would have to go to Inkwell Isle 3. This is because this place stands as a working class city, with a jail system, a mayor, a queen, and even an express station that is fully run by ghosts. I think we need to run an investigation on a place just in case. But it also includes a lot of dangers like Dr. Cal, who's an evil scientist trying to rule the world, and Cal and Maria, who's actually a decent person in heart, but might kill you if you go too far offshore. But there's not much to explain living here since it's just a small version of New York City and there might be some crimes here and there, but we'll leave it up to the queen. Most of the residents here, like Sally Stageplay or Brineybeard, seem to be nice people doing their own thing and really just serve as like a side character. So now let's get into our final isle, which is Inkwell Isle 1, being the safest isle to live on since it's far away from most of the violence and is an uphill forest full of wildlife. Although there might be some different types of wildlife like this flower who's trying to kill you for some reason, kinda like this bitch, or the root pack who might try to steal your food and start a Diddy party, which I am not joking to you, is actually a real thing. But now let's get into the pros and cons about living in Inkwell Isle, starting with the Cups, who are the two main protagonists of both the game and the show and live up to their fullest of lives, of either running a ghost scam or stealing the devil's pitchfork. But as long as you don't really get in their way or make an enemy of them, then this can serve as a pro, since you can gain a lot of knowledge from them about living on Inkwell Isle and its many dangers like the HOA, which is always a con, but something you might have to look out for when living in the woods like Queso. So I'd recommend living somewhere near the observatory or anywhere in the Upper Valley. But another pro about living here is the simplistic lifestyle. Since this time period is taken during the 1930s, there's no such thing as a tung shahur or a fucking vape, which by the way is one of the most dumbest human inventions in human history since you're literally killing your lungs with colorful air. At that point you might as well smoke like a big cigar like a man. But with this time period being in the early 90s, there's not much benefits with healthcare or technology, meaning that your life may be hard, but at least more abundant. So now let's get into the final pros and cons of Inkwell Isle, being the devil running around and trying to steal your soul all of the time. Literally, that's just all he does, just all the time, from like the carnival to the city, just that's all he does. As well as the wackiness of the other residences, ruining your farm, house, or even your family lineage. Meaning that there isn't much that you can do, there's at least one pro left, being the freedom and security that you have on the island. Since you can practically do anything you want, from exploding your friends with fully made fireworks or charming your way into getting free stuff, which might end you up in jail, but you know, that's just the way of life. Concluding into the theory that it actually is possible to live in the world of Cuphead, since most of this stuff is basically what's already been happening in our world, with the difference of the devil running around and all the other wacky shit. But just as long as you don't mess with the cups and get involved with the devil and any other shenanigans in the world, then I'd say you would have like a 65 to 85% chance of actually surviving and just doing your own thing. Now, if it's during the whole massacre of the island and everyone is getting killed, then maybe a 30 to 40% chance, but I'll just leave it there. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Apologies if this is a bit lackluster and short. It's because I'm trying to get back into this sort of content with you guys since it's been literal months. So if you have any other videos to recommend to me, then please feel free to comment down below and make sure to subscribe because the next video that I'm gonna make is gonna be very, very interesting. So yeah, bye!